Yeah,
All right,
I just keep
hello
it steady on
everybody.
the
Welcome
magic.
back to
Do
the
my thing, I'm
Uprooted
healing, it's
podcast.
fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna just
If
have
I
some
fall,
good
rise
conversation
automatic.
about some good
You ain't
topics
on
with some
that, you
good people.
know. I'm the one raise myself like a tree from the roots. West side girl, cause she lit in the coast. East side girl when she speaks to the roots. Stay 100 cause she on with the truth. Been there on struggle, know that it pass. Only going up, yeah, the pain don't last. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. This is take off, take off, take off. Shorty like Brandy, fight like Monica. What you know about her? Baby girl rising, way to the top. Shaking the world, don't expect her to stop. Purpose so great, she get what she got. Follow her step, cause she following God. What you need more, got a heart full of gold. Even at times when it's raining and cold. Ooh, she bout to take off.
Hey, y'all. It's your girl Hannah, aka Ruta, and you're watching the Uprooted podcast. So excited because today is Black Men Speak Sundays, and I'm bringing back one of my favorites. Y'all know him as Danny Denver. I'm sure if you don't know him, I don't know what you're doing in your life, but I don't know what to tell you. Everyone knows who Danny is, and I'm so happy to have him back. He is a long time fan, supporter, friend, older brother. He thinks he's my mom's favorite. You know, all of those things. And y'all, I couldn't think of anybody better to bring on because you know why? Why? Because Danny is number one. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing. He really is dope, and I'm so happy to have him on today. It's gonna be a really good Sunday, y'all. Make sure you are sending this to at least 5 of your friends. We want to make sure that everybody is part of this moment. And if, in case y'all didn't catch the vibe from the song, y'all already know what time it is. Okay. I see you, Danny. I see you. This that new joint. Danny be on that new stuff, huh? Let's see. Hey, Danny.
What's up? How you doing?
This is a new song, right?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh man, I was like, okay, let me find out. He's putting me on right now.
That's an exclusive song that just dropped today.
Yes, and you know, Eden is a good friend, an old friend, and I'm so happy to see her out here. You know, still putting on the good fight. And Ephraim, you know, long time hero. So it's exciting. I like the song.
Yeah, man. This is a solid song, and they've been promoting it for the last couple of weeks, and so it's good to see it released right a week before the festival. So.
Oh yeah, it couldn't be better because we got a
Yeah.
whole new anthem, we got a whole new song. It's been a good vibe. Danny, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
I know. It's solid though, man. You're killing it. You're good, man. It's I'm impressed. You've been holding on. It's hard to do these lives, and you know now you have multiple segments. You know, you got the manifesting Mondays. You got the Black Women Wednesday, and you got Black men coming on
You
Sunday. So
know,
it's like this is solid. You know, like
I couldn't leave you guys hanging.
yeah,
Y'all
we do. We see each other on Clubhouse, so it's like it's cool,
bro,
you know. Like it's
literally.
like it's like we're all big on family living on the digital world, you know. So
Yeah. Oh, look at it. It says, "Hey sis" and "Hi brother Danny." So they
yeah,
already know. Y'all, I don't even be introducing you because I just be assuming everybody knows you. So
you did, man. You did. Thank you.
listen, Danny, y'all be calling him Danny Denver. I just call him Danny. Honestly, I'm gonna start calling you Danny San Jose, but it's just so long, you know? It's
Yeah,
just so
I had to do it
long.
one time for the Bay, you know. You see
You know?
the Giants
Okay.
cap?
That's
Like,
what you was doing?
yeah.
I
That's
didn't
what it
realize.
is, you know.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll be low key holding it down for the Bay too, man. It's just the nickname that I've gotten because you know there's too many Dannys out there. You know, in our community, Danny's like a very popular name. So.
Oh yeah. We're like our parents. You know,
Yep.
like you just choose a city. Like
Yep.
just
Yep.
choose a city and stick to it. Like, oh man.
Yeah. No.
I'm telling you.
It's dope. But yeah,
So
keep it up.
thank you. Before I get too excited, because just in case they don't know who you are, just in case, we're gonna actually give you a proper introduction. I've known you for a long time, going back to San Jose. I don't think it's a secret. Everyone knows you love my mom more, which is completely fine. It's completely fine. I'm not mad
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And you are active, like active, okay? Like active in the Tigray community. So for those who don't know, can you just tell them, if they haven't seen you on Humans of Tigray already, could you just explain to them what you do there? Because I remember like you were like the first one when I started this. You were like sending it, you're like, I'm sending this to 20 friends, and you were just super supportive. And I was like, Danny, you need a show. I was like, you need to do your own show because you know way too much history. You got way too much knowledge about the community. And then you told me you were going to be working on this Humans of Tigray project. And I was just like, dope. And I was like, I still want you to do another show anyways, because I was like, I want you to do more. But
Yeah.
you already do so much. So for the people who don't know you, could you kind of just let them know a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure. If you don't know, my name is Danny Denver, Daniel, for adults. But you know, I'm just honestly speaking, I'm just a very, very caring, loving Tigray. Like, I care about Tigray. Like, everything that revolves around my life has Tigray in it. That's the one thing that I would want people to kind of remember me by at the end of the day. It's like, you know, early on, when I was like my early college years, I remember just like joining some Ethiopians in like restaurants, sitting down and talking. And at that point, I used to think like, yo, we're the same. We're Ethiopians. We're all from the same country. And I'm talking about like, this is the mid 2000s. You know what I mean? Like it was a long time ago, like 15 years ago. We're going back.
Yeah.
And
don't age yourself, Danny.
Nah, it's cool. Like, I mean, most people know, but it's like when you sit down and talk to people and get to understand, and then you all, you know, like when you get to college, that was like the first time you start to like kind of understand, like, or have identity crisis or find your identity. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I found mine. You know what I mean? Like I was taught at home, but like Tigray has been a core thing. You know, my dad always says, it's like there are 3 things that I want you to be a member of, and I'm Orthodox, so he's like, you got to be a member of the church. Okay. And my dad also says, you have to be a member of the community. And then 3rd thing is you have to be a member of TDA. These are the 3 things that were like mandatory at home for like us, you know, like for him to pass his legacy. These were the most important things for him. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was like a very important thing. You know what I'm saying? So boom.
Well, you're the oldest too, right?
I'm the oldest at home. Yeah. So, but overall, like, you know, just if I can describe myself, I'm just like a Tigray. That's what I am. I'm a Tigray. Like, you know, I want it to be known as like, if you were to look at a Tigray, a person that represents Tigray, I would hope to be like one of those people that does it in a way that it's appropriate culturally and it's also accepted in the modern world. So like a healthy balance of the two. So that's it. I went on a rant.
No, okay. Listen, you came ready. You just wanted the people to know where you stand. Okay, like that's fine. Let them know. Everybody should. That's why I said if everybody doesn't know, now you know. I do have non-Tigrayan listeners as well, so I wanted them to understand who you were as well. So Humans of Tigray is another Instagram page, and you guys have been covering the entire war, like the entire war, giving updates as they come, keeping us afloat, like us, those of us in the diaspora who like really can't understand what's going on, and breaking that down. So that's been beautiful. And that project really started pre-war, and it was really about highlighting like who is an average Tigrayan, right? And like who do we represent and stuff like that. So I love how you were able to pivot. Not even pivot, you were just, you know, continuously doing what you're doing, but also you've been active in the community for as long as I've known you, in every community, in every committee, in every, I feel like every person probably has your number somehow because you're on everything, and you're just always willing to help. So I just wanted people to know like a little bit about you in case for some reason they hadn't heard yet. So I was like, let's make sure we talk about Danny. But outside of that too, me and you talk about a lot. Like you, actually, I realized, Danny, I think we've talked damn near every day since the war started, actually.
Yeah.
Like
almost, yeah. Pretty much. it's hard to remember because think about this. So how many people can actually remember all the things that happened in the last almost 9 months now? Like not many, because it's so much has happened that it's hard to keep up with how the last 8 months were. And we all have just kind of stepped up to say, hey, look, there is an active genocide that's happening in Tigray, and we all have to just step up and do what we can. And everybody just stepped up to do it. Like, no one is sitting here saying like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, I have an idea. Do you have time? Like, how's your family? How are you doing? Like, there's like no time for that. You literally just go and be like, hey, look, I'm trying to do this. What do you think the best way I could do it? And then you got to find a person who can help you do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, I remember the war started, and then 2 days later, we're just like, everybody's just like connecting. Like, whoever is around, who's not around, you just collected everybody and then went straight to work. And so to me, like when I look back, I don't remember like a lot of the stuff that happened on like a regular day-to-day activities, but overall, I just know that we mobilized and we kept it pushing, right?
Yeah.
Like we need to aggressively go, and everybody found their calling. Like it was like, you're not forced to do what you do, right? Everybody voluntarily just came in, jumped in, and did the work. And so that's what the motivation was behind the Humanist Tigray, the series that we had on Saturdays. The main thing was like, I like, honestly, we saw that there was a big gap in terms of information for our community. And our community, when I say our community, I don't mean the older generation. I'm talking about the youth on Instagram, where just like frantic. They don't know what's happening. And you just see like drones attacking Tigray. You see Eritreans invading Tigray. You see Ethiopia, not when I say Eritreans, Eritrean troops invading Tigray. Ethiopian troops invading Tigray. And you have the Amhara militias and special forces invading Tigray. It's like all of these things are happening, and you don't know why it's happening.
Yeah.
You don't know. You have no idea why all of these forces are coming to attack small Tigray, you know? And so the idea was, how do we frame this to not frame it, but like, how do we present this in a way that the youth can understand it in a way that is easy? And then along the way, kind of bring stories from those that were actually in the war, so that we can get a sense of what was happening, right? By having that, I think it was therapeutic for people. Some of the feedbacks that I've gotten has been, people said, you know what, we found it very helpful. Like I couldn't sleep at night. Like, you know, my good friend would tell you, she's in the comments. And then it's like, that was the motivation. Really, when you hear people tell you like, this helped me go to sleep a little bit better. This helped me kind of getting informed. And this helped me in just having a place where we can call it ours, and then just having to talk without any distraction, then you tend to think like, okay, we're doing something that can help our people. And so everything, whether it's a community, committees, on a national level, on a small scale, whatever it is, I don't minimize it. I think every effort that we make, it's huge. And so that's why you see me, like, whenever they ask me, like, hey, get involved in this, I'll get involved. Like youth and I'm not a big fan of youth now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of youth now. I say that.
Daddy,
like,
this openly. Is a public. I know.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry.
This is recorded. Okay. This is recorded.
But it's recorded, and it's okay. It's okay. I think it's sometimes it's good for us to be honest. Healthy criticism. No, it's good to be honest. You know.
Yeah.
But the reason why I brought that up is because there have been times where they ask me like, hey, can you like be a co-host on the Lakatis party? Like, I don't care if it's the double that's coming in to tell me like, hey, can you help me co-host for the Lakatit party? I'm gonna do it with that person. You know why? Because Lakatit means it's our people struggling for 17, the inception of our people struggling for 17 years to liberate Tigray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what we have to understand is, like, all of us, when we do something, if it serves Tigray, we have to do it. If it serves Tigray, like, Tigray comes first. Like, nothing else matters. Like, Tigray comes first. So anytime that we're doing something, and anytime that we're thinking about making a decision to do something, it needs to come from a place, does this benefit Tigray, right? And that's kind of like the approach that I take and how I see this, you know what I'm saying? So if you notice, everything that I get involved in, somehow, some way, it helps the Tigray communities, or it helps Tigray in general, like directly, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's fundraising events or community events or anything, it's that. One thing I forgot to tell you guys though is there are a few things that I want to lay out so people can actually get to know what the actual scenery is out there. You know
Okay, wait a minute before you get them confused. So
No, I'm not gonna get them confused. I promise.
okay, because I was just like, hold on, Danny, because they might be all over the place. Because you went into the full, Danny, like he low key a teacher. Okay, we're gonna call him Memphis. He's already in here talking about motivational speeches. Da, 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 da. Okay, so for those of you who guys, the reason why I started it like this, and the reason why I wanted Danny on is like the one thing me and Danny have constantly agreed on. We don't agree on everything. We argue a lot. Anyone who's been around us, like we really argue like brother and sister. I'm like, you're so obnoxious, bro. But literally the one thing that we do not disagree on is like our love for our community and like making sure that we're a resource to the community, that we're putting people on, that we're inspiring them, that we're connecting them, and like we're constantly pushing the work. And I didn't want you to like speed past that because I want to take a moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To like be like, this is, you said a lot, like you do a lot, you're on a lot of committees, and then the heavy load that it takes to do that kind of show, right? Like where you're digesting all that information, you're taking in so much trauma, right? All day long, because we're still victims of this. Like this is happening to us and our people, right? So like you are like that person that's like boom, 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 like you get the work done, you're like, we're just gonna keep pushing, and I'm the like soft, mushy one. I'm like, are you okay? Can we take a second to pause? Can we breathe for a minute? How are you doing? Have you slept? Have you ate? Because as much as like, we want to like go, we do have to have a level of like self-care, a level of like rest in some shape or form. Me and you have immediate family members, you know what I mean, that like are there, and we certainly, have our moments too, because it's so hard and it's so triggering, but we come on screen, you know what I mean, and we're here for them and we're here for everyone. But like I'm always like on the back end, like, you good? Like, are you okay? And I remember distinctly after like the first episode, or not the first episode, but the first time you had like a guest come from that had just left ID. I think it was Rowena.
Rowena, yeah.
And then I immediately messaged you after like, hey, that was really heavy. Like, do you need to debrief? Do you need to unpack? And you were like, like, I'm good. I'm gonna take care of this end. You take care of that end. You make sure we're, we stay solid, and I'm gonna make sure we do this. And so we've been like back and forth. I was like, all right, cool, because I know I don't have to do that because you got it covered, which makes it way easier for me to like focus on our healing and like keeping our people up and inspired and motivated and like positive. So I was like, you take on all of that, and I want everyone who just, because it's almost like, oh, that's Danny, like it's almost like an afterthought because you're always there, you're so consistent, you know what I mean, like. And I want to make sure, like we got to take a pause, bro. We got to take a pause because you do too much. And, I want other people to be like, at the end of the day, he's still a human being, and he still is like in this with us. So like, make sure y'all when you come into him with all this extra work and projects, now that y'all know he's involved in everything, just, before you put more on his plate, just ask him, like, just ask him, be direct too. Like if it's a connection, just tell him that, because he's managing a lot. So
I'm flattered.
I wanted to put that.
I don't want you to.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Danny. Don't do it. Don't do it. You have to take the flowers.
I do. I accept the compliment. Thank you very much. I mean, really, I'm humbled. What I would say in this situation is, I manage things with like prioritize what comes first, what comes second, what's most beneficial to the guy, right? And
your life is beneficial too.
Yeah, it is. It is
in the long run.
No question. No question. So,
I was like, before you even try to like
I will not do that. I will not do that, because I think the work that you do is very, very important, especially being able to understand like the information that we take in on a daily is very dense. It's hard, heavy stuff. Like looking at pictures, you like that. Like in the beginning, it used to be like, oh man, I can't look at pictures no more. I have to put that away. I cannot look at pictures no more because the pictures were so gruesome that
I can't look either.
In your whole life, you couldn't imagine something like that being real. let alone that being your people, like that you've grown up with, people that you know, you have attachment to, someone that you've had connections with, you know what I'm saying? And so what I would like, what I started doing, especially like in the last year or so, before the war even, is that I segmented things. You know what I'm saying? So in our communities,
compartmentalizing.
yeah, in our communities, there are certain things that happen, certain things that help us, certain things that are going to move us and move the whole idea of Tigray into the next stage, right? So in the US and in North America, and this probably should be replicated in Europe and Australia, but in America, in the US, North America, we have what's called the Tigray Communities Forum. Okay. The Tigray Communities Forum is basically like a big umbrella of like one organization that like is working to oversee the other organizations, assist them, and make them to be an efficient organizations, like the communities. And they go around and help them in establishing communities. We had one here. You were here at that time.
Yeah.
Right? The communities did it in 2019. The annual conference was in Denver.
Yep.
Actually, at the same hotel as what we're going to talk about for the fest.
Yeah.
Ironically. But so there's that, right? But within that, there's something that is for us, which is TPN. TPN is Tegaru Professionals Network. You know what I'm saying? So
our favorite people.
Our favorite people. You know what I'm saying? But this came from the Tigray Communities Forum because they saw the value of having the youth building a networking system that we can all reach each other. So all of us, all the people who actually work hard and excel in life can actually meet, share ideas, and excel in their personal lives. So this actually is directly going to impact you, me, and everybody else that calls themselves Tegaru and Tegaru, right? So that gets a heavy like there's a huge place for that, right? And you have to give that. And then two, with the war that's happening back home, there's a way for us to help. There's a way for us to help, but it needs to be in an organized manner. You know what I'm saying? Like if you notice, we have like so many different GoFundMes, so many different ones, and it's hard to keep up. And we have really extracted so much of the resource from our communities that our people are hurting financially right now. And we talked about this before, right?
Yeah, we talk about, listen, we talk about financing all the time.
Yeah. And what we have to understand is, like, the reason why TDA was one of those things my dad told me is starting to make sense now. Because we have to have one organization that is well fine-tuned to actually impact the people of Tigray. And like, if you look at TDA has built over 600 schools in mine and your lifetime in Tigray.
Yeah, it's
600 schools by itself, one organization.
Yeah. Every time I talk to my dad, he's going to another ribbon cutting. Like, it's nuts. Like, they have been, like, we don't see it. Like, us, the diaspora, because we're not active, like, unless you're tapped in, like we are, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because we have family, like immediate family that lives, like, not that other people don't, but I mean, like, we have them to the point where we're regularly connected. So and like we go, our parents are like involved, you know, and we go and we see it. And sometimes the diaspora who's here, who are disconnected, don't see that, right? Like, they're like, sometimes we don't get our parents' organization, and we're used to like a Western lens of like, well, where's your website and all these things that we're used to. And it's like, our parents didn't grow up in that era, but it doesn't mean they're not building. They're building a lot. The only thing is the communication between the youth and the advocacy.
There's
you
a
know
gap.
What I mean?
There's a gap.
Yeah, and we're working hard to like close it.
I want to come to that. That's why. So when it comes to TDA, there is a Mahata system going on right now, which is basically directly helping Tigray in the things that it's missing. You know what I'm saying? The hospital systems are messed up. A lot of things are messed up in Tigray right now. Everything has been destroyed, really. If we're talking, you know? Yeah. And there's a lot of work that's needed to heal the people directly. So for those resources, the government of Tigray have asked for us to donate directly to Mahata and just give what we can to that. And then that could be allocated in a way that it would work and help the people of Tigray. Yeah. So for us, diaspora, and this is like kind of the direction that I want to make sure that people are understanding. So like I would hope that people that are here in the US and abroad get involved in the Tigray community forums, in the TPNs, in the Northbridge Corporation, that's an investment group, the women's committee that is within it, the all of the different committees that they have within the Tigray Communities Forum, and then mobilize yourself and get your community to have a community center. That's the one avenue. The second avenue is for people to donate, and another thing, this is one thing that is not talked about enough in our community, which is go out there and try to bring resources for Tigray. TDA is a nonprofit organization. Talk to the places that you work and tell them like, hey, I work here. What's our nonprofit contribution matching looking like? How can we help the people of Tigray in order for, like, because this is a genocide happening, these organizations are happy to help if they have that system in place, right? So asking. And the other thing is, we also need to make a conscious effort to go to the development agencies that are out there helping poor countries come out of poverty. We have to tell them, we have to pitch in, we have to propose to them that we need some help in building Tigray. How can we help Tigray? How can you help us help Tigray? And go and pitch that and then get resources to come in. So we need to not only not only ask our people, and then that's one segment, but I think the biggest component needs to be us going outside and looking and getting resources and bringing it home to help the people. So these things, these 2-3 things that we need to bring together. And once we do that, then we can move forward in building a little Tigray here in the US. Like we need to build a little Tigray here. You know what I'm saying? Most of us, you and I, are probably not going to go back to Tigray to live there because we've built a life here for us. We will go help and become like, and probably retire there. But for us, our day-to-day life goes around living here. And I'm being honest when I say we're
the majority.
Not go back. I'm just,
I was going to correct you because I was like, I'm most likely going to spend half and half of my time, but you know, that's not everybody's.
Probably, yeah.
That's not everybody else's situation. You already know I have it like that, but like everybody can't. Everybody can't do that. But yes, I understand the sentiment.
Yeah, and so and then the third thing is I really think that you know you can work and do everything on social media and all that stuff outside, but if you're not checking in with your own community, it's gonna start to become a problem because your community, your local community, is your primary responsibility. Yeah, your city, whatever you are, you have to mobilize the people that are there. So whatever events you have to put them together. Bring the people together. You know what I'm saying? Bring the whole crew that's in the city, whether it's 10, 15 people or 20 people that are in your city, bring them and say, hey, we need to connect. We have this, we're from the same place. Yeah. Same Tigray. Yeah. And for us, if we come together, then us coming together is going to collectively help Tigray in a way that our community, other communities, they can connect to each other, connect within one another. And eventually we can benefit from one another. You know what I'm saying? So I wholeheartedly believe that all of us that are in the diaspora in our local cities, please go ahead and make sure that you mobilize your own communities if it's not already mobilized. If it is, join them, be part of it. Be part of it. Like
everybody has a skill. Everybody has a skill. Listen, first of all, Danny, we got to laugh at this. Cece said Ruta already packed. Girl, I stay packed ready, okay? As soon as Sudan is like ready for us to pass through, I'm like, are we out? Because you know I'm not flying through Addis. Like, no. We're not going. I don't want to ever see that city again. I'm going straight to Tigray, however I can get there. You know, and then you see Fabu said we're about to have an in that diaspora neighborhood in Makale. Fabu, we already do.
There's already one.
Yeah, I was
already
like,
been.
Fabu, we already do. That's why I said I got it good like that, sis. I was like, I'm already out there in the neighborhood, sis. Don't even worry. You can sleep over anytime. Like, I'm telling y'all, I'm out.
Housewives of Makale crew.
Oh my gosh.
Tell her.
Listen. We're not, Danny, let's not bring up Danny, let's not bring up stuff because why? Because remember, so let's just have a little bit of a moment here. Y'all, Danny and I, okay, first when I said Danny is like a big time supporter, Danny, do you remember the speech you gave me when I first started? And you were like, Ruta.
Yeah. That's how it
like
starts. Every
like a
time.
whole dad every time.
Every time.
Like, you're so serious.
Every
And you were
time.
like, what you're doing is really important. You're connecting the diaspora. We got to get together. We got to get people involved. Like, and you were giving me the whole dad speech, all of that. And then you were like, hey, you're going to do this show. And you're gonna do, you were like giving me like everything. I was like, Danny, can you just, okay, you know what? Can you just come on? I was like, can you just come on and we're just going to do some history? And that's like what we were doing last summer, was like, all right, let's start, you know, like putting out some history. Let's get people involved. Let's start talking about things. You know what I mean? You connected Maaza to the show, you know, and then she came on, and then, you know, we just started to like really internally network. And that's so good because we started that last year. So when everything like, when everything popped off, Maz already knew how to contact me. You know what I mean? So we were able to just start right away because we already had platforms that we were building, you know? But like, you were even on the shows, because, you know, the episodes before that, we used to have really funny lives during quarantine, and Danny was always in the comments trolling me, doing the absolute most, like, just see, you guys think Danny's, you know, everyone thinks you're so serious. I'm like, Danny never stops trolling and he never stops laughing. Okay, like, don't let the face confuse you. But he was always on there, and then like would hop on, and then me and him would go back and forth. So y'all can always go back and see. I don't know which ones I actually saved, but they can always go back and see, because we've been on this. We've been on this wave of like, yo, we gotta get connected and we gotta do the work.
That's my therapy, though. By the way, like that's the way
the trolling?
I deal with it. Like,
oh yeah,
that's how
Tegaru
I deal with
humor.
it.
Tegaru humor is like A1.
It's different kind. Yeah. So I literally would just, I wouldn't just sit back and say like, oh, I'm just gonna be serious all the time. If you're like that, you're gonna collapse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the other thing that's missing is the gap between the adults and the elderly and our younger generation, is that there isn't a way of making this fun for all of us to actually come together. Like, we need to be able to laugh at one another, make fun of each other from a good place. It doesn't need to be harmful. It needs to be from a good place. If we can communicate with one another in a way that you're just poking fun at each other, like, you know, trolling and just doing that on here, it's not bad. It's cool, you know. Like, we'll definitely make it fun for us to learn, right?
Yeah.
Like, our history is rich. If I tell you our history as it is, you go to sleep, honestly speaking. But if I tell you the history in a way that it's like relatable to our everyday life today, then you would digest the information and it would not be a problem. Like, you'd be okay. It's really not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh wow, that's great, that's amazing. You know, so and so was a G for what he did. So like, you know, like, you will understand it and you will find the joy in learning it. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that we laugh. It's important that we connect with one another, understand each other's like boundaries. But like, just learn to enjoy yourself, because if you do not enjoy being in the companies of Tegarus, then you're gonna feel like you're gonna be overwhelmed, because there's so much bad stuff. There's so much bad stuff that happened to us.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. Exactly. So you have to bring it down a little bit and then just take it in a little bit easier. In a fun way, you know.
I'm telling you right now, I always say, and I really, really tell people, joy is an act of resistance. Always see in here, Kasai said, laughter is medicine. Like, it really, really is. Like, Tegaru humor is the way it is because we have so much trauma. Like, we gotta laugh just as hard. And our enemies hate to see us happy, guys. They really hate to see us happy. And that's why I check on everyone too, right? Because this is like, for us in the diaspora, this is psychological warfare. That's my arena, right? Like, that's my arena. Y'all think I just do this stuff? I'll just, oh, she's happy all the time. No. I like actively work on being happy, like finding peace within myself internally. That's why I'm like glowing crazy, because I'm like, y'all can't take that away from me. That's my internal peace. Y'all not gonna take that. You're not gonna take my joy. You're not gonna take my happiness. You're not gonna take any of those things. Like, because that is what I can control. You know, like that is what I can't control, what's happening back home, but I can control my mind here, and I can protect my energy here, and I can protect my like sanity, right? So like, all of y'all, for real, like, you got to do it for yourself, and don't feel bad about that at all.
If you're
Also,
not the best of you,
mm-hmm,
if you don't take care of yourself so you can be the best you're not going to help Tigray. Like,
you're not.
if you want to help Tigray, you have to be in the best shape of yourself, like, because there's so much that you have to take in. There's so much that you have to digest in order to help Tigray. So
Yeah.
you have to always check in with self and then just make sure that things are normal. Like, you've got it under control. Like, you really have to, because again, especially the first 4 months were very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. So if you're not able to find a way to like bring yourself, and then we're going through COVID restrictions, or people working from home, or not having any social interactions with others, and yet you're going through the trauma. You're not getting enough information. You're not able to call your family. You don't know if they're still alive or not, and you hear stories of like, oh, like 50 people got killed today, 20 people got killed today, and you're getting these numbers, and you're sitting here like, is my family part of this? Like, is this something that I like? You don't know. The unknown is a scary thing to have in your head, because that unknown could eat away every piece that you have within you, and it will drive you crazy. And some people actually don't even sleep. People
no, they
weren't
don't.
sleeping.
They're not sleeping. They're
Our
not sleeping
parents,
at all.
especially, they weren't sleeping. By the way,
they all sleep like this with their phone. Their phone
Yep.
is like this, and they're sleeping like this
Yep.
every day,
Yep.
every day. And I'm like, I have to like snatch it, and I'm like, nah, go to sleep, bro. Like, go to sleep. It's like they honestly exhaust themselves because they don't want to sleep, so they exhaust themselves, or they self-medicate, whatever it is, right? To force themselves to go to sleep, but like they don't actually want to. And then you see that in the youth too, those of us who are like actively involved. It's really hard to turn our brain off sometimes. So like I like very early on, and even before this, like, because I've been in social justice for a long time, and I don't like that kind of prepared me, like not to the full extent, but it prepared me enough to be like, I cannot watch videos, I cannot look at photos. I can kind of skim through.
I'm gonna get my charger, but I'm listening to you, so keep going.
Okay. I can't do any of those things, because for me it's like such a big trigger. Like, and if you guys notice the emotional depth that I have for the rest of y'all, so if you know how deep I can go, imagine what happens to me if I let that type of negativity in. I will have nothing left to give any of you. Right? Like, at all. Like, I would have this show would have been donezo a long time ago. So I had to make that conscious decision that like I'm not actively ignoring the pain of my people. I'm like choosing to put a boundary of how much I'm willing to accept and take in, because I know a lot of it too, especially from the other side, is a lot of gaslighting, a lot of propaganda. They're like purposely trying to do things to hurt us, right? So I'm not going to even let them get under my skin, because I can't afford to do that, because there's so many people who rely on like us, Danny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they rely on our platforms. They rely on all the organizing that we do, because me and Danny organize a lot behind the scenes as well. So it's like, when you know that, you have to protect yourself, and you have to have some type of boundary and self-care so that you can show up for other people. And for me, I also have an illness, right? I have a hormonal disorder called PCOS. So for me, if I don't sleep, if I don't get enough sleep, my body will shut down. I will have the worst symptoms. Listen, it's not fun on this side. I know I don't look it, okay? But I actively work on it every day. So for me, it was like really important to find a way to fall asleep. Like, my schedule was crazy for a long time. I was going to sleep at like 4 a.m, and then like waking up like at 11. Like, it was so ridiculous, like off. But I got myself back to a regular schedule because I knew I had to do it, right? It had nothing to do with me like needing it or not needing it, wanting it. It was just I had to. I need it for my body, because if I don't take care of myself, I'm done. I'm done. It's so bad.
Like, listen. It's very selfish of anyone to say like, oh, and some people actually used to feel this way, like they feel guilty for eating food because they felt like, our people back home are not, they don't have food to eat, So how can I enjoy a meal when our people are suffering? How can I sleep when our people are like, you know, running from village to village because they're being chased around, or they're being killed, or their assets being looted, and women are being raped, kids are being killed? Like all of this is heavy. And so people used to take it out on themselves. Like they take it out on themselves. But what you're doing is you're hurting yourself. And in the process, you're hurting Tigray. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in the long run.
Yeah. Listen, anyone would tell you, like in business, like, you know this from school, but they tell you, like, I would take 2 hours of productive effort from someone over 8 hours of unproductive time that they've committed to.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Or 12 hours for that matter, you know?
I tell people all the time, I'm like one of those people that I have to be really efficient, like, you know, because I know that I don't have the bandwidth that I normally have, right? Like I'm getting closer. I'm actually getting really close to having my full brain back. It feels amazing, guys. No, for real. I feel like I was like operating with half a brain for like the first 4 months. And I was like, I'm not this slow. Like on a normal day, I'm like, I'm not this slow. I'm usually like one of those people, because my mom, like, she taught me how to multitask. So I've always been able to handle a lot at a time. So for me to not be able to do that, I was like, okay, I got to get back to that. Like that's how I'm going to know I'm at my healthiest. And it was like, okay, I'm literally at my healthiest. My symptoms are managed. Like my mental health is back. You know what I mean? I'm physically working. I'm doing all the healthy coping mechanisms that I keep telling people to do. I'm actually practicing what I preach, and you guys are seeing the results. So
that's when you're healthier. That's the healthiest you would ever be, is when you are doing things that you're happy with, whether it's 10 things or 2 things, whatever makes you happy. If you're doing that, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Sickness comes from stress.
Yeah.
Stress is a built thing that you're holding on to things that you don't need to be holding on to. You don't have control over those things, so let them go.
Yeah.
You know, you can only control what you can control.
It's really like, so some people in the comments are saying like they still are struggling. So this is what I did. I thought about, if I was there and I got out, right? The first thing I'm doing is getting food.
Yep.
Like I'm going to go live my best life.
Yep.
So I'm going to like do all the things that I want to do. I'm going to create everything because you have that like adrenaline that you just survived. You know what I'm saying? And you want to use that. So I'm thinking, if they were in our shoes, they would eat. They would take care of themselves because that's what they want to do there. Right? So we can't take that for granted here. You know what I mean? First of all, the food is going to go to waste. Like, by the way, guys, like, you have to remember that, like, just because you're not taking it in doesn't mean that it's like it's going to automatically magically go there. It's not. Like, you're just going to hurt yourself here. Like, it's really, and I don't eat for, like, you know, the thrill of it anymore. Like, before, you know how you get excited and you want to, I want to try this. It's more of like, bro, I'm hungry. I got to eat so that I can get on with my day. That's literally how I like my relationship with food is like, is this going to make me feel good? Is this going to fill me up for long enough so I can get to the next task? Right. So like, that's how I think think about it. It's just fuel. It's really that, like, we have this weird idea of it. Yeah.
Like you have, listen, if you're going to be the best you, if you're going to do the things that you want to do in a right way, you have to be happy and content with the things that are around you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be content with what you're doing, how you're doing it, waking up. Are you in a good mood? You know what I'm saying? That is a result of you sleeping enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you wake up, do you have the things that you want to have in front of you so that you have the rest of the day laid out? You know what I'm saying? So like, okay, I got these few tasks that I got to do. I got these things that I have to handle. I have these different stuff that I have to, the phone calls I got to make, you know, writing I have to, whatever it is. So with that, like, you know, if you fuel yourself with food, that's something that makes you happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people say, don't eat junk food. I think the association in our head that we have with food is what makes it bad for ourselves. Like, one, I mean,
mindfulness,
excess fat and all that stuff is bad too. But what I'm saying is, it's like, we need to be able to eat food and then actually enjoy the food. Like, take the food like a burger. You take a burger, you're eating a burger. Like, you have to be one with that burger. Like, you have to eat the burger as like a food. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be, your mind can't be all over the place somewhere else on your phone. And I tell this to other people too, like some of my friends, because like when I see people on their phone while they're eating, I'm like, bro, you're so disconnected with what you're eating. You don't even know what you're biting. Like, you don't know. You know you know?
You're not
So,
paying attention to your
yeah,
body.
you're not paying attention to what you're actually putting in your body. Like,
At all. Like,
so
I could switch your
that throws
plate
you
and you
off.
wouldn't know.
But yeah, that would throw you off though in your mood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Your mind has not been able to process what's being consumed. And the same thing with everyday thing. Like, you have to be very intentional about what you consume.
Mm-hmm.
Shit that you listen to. Like, on Clubhouse, we got our friends on from Clubhouse here. You know,
Yes.
like we're always telling people, like, stop going to some of these rooms that really trigger you and drive you nuts. Because essentially what you're doing is you disrupting the flow of your day, your way
Mm-hmm.
of like living and coasting, into where you have a wave of like unnecessary hurricane that just came and smacked you in the face.
It's
Because that's
so
what it feels like.
unnecessary. It's so
Unnecessary.
unnecessary.
Yeah. If you have your mind set up, you know exactly what you're going to hear, and then you want to actually just go there and see it, that's fine. But just be mindful of the things that you let into your ears. Be mindful of the things that you watch. These graphic videos, graphic content that we see people getting killed. Some of us don't have the ability to consume those, so we need to make sure we're a little careful with that content. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, I would hope that we would send those to the news medias so they can actually publish it, and it would help us getting the message out. But for us to just be consuming that information all the time, you're not gonna be right. You're not gonna be right. You know?
No, not at all.
I don't care who you are. You're just not. It's gonna mess you up.
It is. And it's like, so people, okay, so we're saying a couple things, and I think sometimes people don't know this about you, but this idea of mindfulness, intentionality, we talk a lot about manifesting and law of attraction, and kind of just overall this idea of like really being in control of your own energy, right? So like that is also something that you were doing way before this war, so that you're actually able to like keep sane during this time. And like when you were talking about, you know, kind of segmenting and compartmentalizing, you're actively doing it. Like, you know, like you're like, hey, I gotta do, for me to keep my life together, I gotta put things into separate categories right now. It's not always the healthiest to do long term, but you already are aware of how to take care of yourself, right? So like, can you just like briefly kind of talk about those type of things and how you got into that, and like, you know, kind of, because I've seen you be able to like manage this pretty well. So explain that too, because I think sometimes the guys don't get it, and like not even just the guys, but like everybody doesn't get it. And I'm like, y'all, I'm telling you, Danny's into this too. Like he could have just came on a Manifest Mondays, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think you know, energy is everything. You know, a simple, nice gesture from someone could make your day, and then everything else goes well for you for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Simple gratitude, like just a simple phrase of gratitude that you put out there can literally change the day, the outcomes of your day. Like you saying, oh man, I'm so thankful to have this car so I can get to work. That level of comfort within self would get you flawlessly to your work, and the car will get you back home, that you've had that feeling, and you go to work with a good feeling, and then your day at work goes smoothly and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a morning where you can't find your keys. You're super mad. You're like, where is my freaking keys? I just, like, life is just so unfair. Everything's going so bad. Like, why do I have to go to work? All that. Guess what? As soon as you walk out to your car after you found your keys, your tires are probably flat, or you're on E or something. Yeah. And then you're stuck in traffic.
You're playing catch up all day after that.
Yeah, but things are just going bad. Like, you get stuck in traffic.
I'm saying, like, you're gonna be mad all day long. Everything that happens after that, you're gonna be irritated because you already started your day pissed off.
Yep. So I learned that early on, that like, and I had mentors, like, you know, in college that really were influential in this. They literally lived life to the fullest potential. Like, you know, I check in with them from time to time, and it was one of those things where I always felt like, if you really wanted to have the life that you want to have, you have to create it. And the way you create it is by being intentional on every level of your time and your day and your minutes and your seconds. You can have the best of life, or you can have a miserable life. At the end of it all, like, you make that ultimate decision. And that decision is sometimes saying, this is what I want in the world. And I do believe that I deserve this life. And then you send it out and you release it and let it go and let that come back. And that's manifestation. So like you let, like, that 3-step process. It's a literally simple process. It's you thinking the things that you want. It's believing that you deserve the things that you want, and releasing it, and then letting the universe bring that to your reality.
Yeah,
and
you gotta walk it too. You gotta when you
it.
believe it, you gotta walk it.
That's
Yeah, that's what I'm
it.
saying. You
Part
gotta
of
walk it
believing
and just
is,
know it's yours. That's it. The release is like it's coming. That's it. Like you don't like because sometimes people are confused with this like let it go. They don't like they confuse that language. We're not saying let it go like forget. Like we're saying let it go because it's handled. That's it. It's handled.
That's it. So I think it's a simple thing, but there are a lot of tools online, like on YouTube or whatever. And then you are doing this on Mondays. If people get a chance, like they should definitely tap in and kind of like understand, ask questions, you know, like people feel afraid to ask questions. Like just what I've noticed in life is that if you feel like you're afraid to ask a question, it's more on you than it's on the other person, because the other person, 9 out of 10 times, they will actually answer the question for you. You know what I'm saying? So I would say whenever you get a chance, like at work, I ask tons of questions. In real life, like regular outside to people, I ask a lot of questions because I'm interested in learning, like knowing like how their mind works. And then I'm also not afraid to tell people what I think. You know what I'm saying? And people are usually afraid to tell what they think. Like, you don't have a brain for no reason. You have a brain so that you can exercise the rights that you have of expressing how you see things. And someone will learn from you, and then you will learn from somebody else. It's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? So ask questions. So I'm challenging everybody when you have your manifesting Mondays for people to ask you like one question and say like, how do I do this? And see if they can get feedback from you. And if you feel like you need more, then you go explore more information online. Like YouTube,
there's so much. Yeah,
you know?
I'll be telling people all the time the internet is free.
Yeah.
like the internet is free. You don't even gotta like the internet is free. There's libraries that are free. There are people that can tell like there's so many ways that you can better your life. You just have to choose it. Like when people like I posted the other day, and because everyone has been asking me like, whoa, you lost crazy weight, like you just look different, like all these things. I'm like, bro, like it's all about me wanting to be better. Like I chose for myself that my health was the most important thing in my life, like my own personal health. Like I could not have a whole illness and still be prioritizing other people. Like that just is wild to me, right? So I'm like, that's literally the only thing I did was choose myself. And once I chose myself, everything else fell in line. Because now I'm like, okay, I'm going to be very intentional. Do you think I want to eat all this stuff? Like, no, but it's like I have learned to love it because I know that my body feels good when I do that, right? Like I listen to my body. Like right now, I'm like, all right, I'm about to get up and take a walk after this because I've been sitting and I feel a little stiff, right? Like you just start to pay attention to the things you need and you get up and you do it, right? Like I'm like, ooh, I'm getting cranky, I'm hungry. Oh, I gotta hurry up and get some food, right? Like all of these things, like you just get more in tune and you just start like walking in that direction. But you have to choose yourself first. Like if you don't choose yourself and if you don't choose growth and you don't choose positivity, then you're not gonna have it. So it's just
so proud right now.
Why?
Because
we're having a healthy conversation.
Yeah, 10,000 steps.
Okay.
Go get your goods from Trader Joe's.
You already know. Listen, I'm about to be up there. I'm about to be on my walk. I'm gonna get I got my steps yesterday. I'm gonna get my steps today. I got me a kettlebell. I'm like in here really just like slowly, like, you know, just every day, just adding something new, you know, just adding something good to my life, whether it's blogging, walking. I even added some new crystals to my collection. Listen, anything that's about me healing, I'm 100% behind it. And I've tried so many things and I've explored so many ideas because that's where I wanted to be. I was like, yo, I've already done life this way. It sucks. I don't like it. You know what I mean? So you got to decide to get up and do something. At some point, you are literally the only one responsible for your own life.
Exactly.
And that's where people get stuck. They're like, well, I can't. What do you mean? You can do whatever you want. Like, right. Absolutely whatever you want. You got to get rid of that limiting belief, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first step. Because
you see that all the time.
Oh,
you see
yeah.
that all the time. People think that they need something else to be happier, better equipped. All you need is you. This right here, the pulse right here, and that's it. Like, you just want something out there, and then you search it, you find it, you make it part of you, and that will bring the ultimate change that you need for yourself. It's not no one's responsibility. There are traumas that we have to overcome, childhood traumas, teenagers, maybe even in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, you believe them to be true. That's why they're holding you back. So you have to release any of that energy that you have within you that's limiting you from being the best you that you believe to be, or you want to be. And then you eventually, once you get rid of those like limiting beliefs, then you can go on. Like, how many people I talk to all the time that tell me, like, nah, man, I don't think I'm good enough for that. Like, nah, man, I'm not smart enough. I you know what, like, the people that work there, they're like, they're like this and that. But
that's not
me. That's not me. Like, and the thing is, it's like, there's not anything that anybody can't do. Like, you literally can be anything you want to be in this life. You can be anything you want to be. Like, and I say that because it's one, you wanting it. If you want it, there's a desire there. And two, it's like you believe that you deserve that. And the limiting part is where it stops. That limiting part comes in and says, no, you don't believe this. This is not true for you. And it cuts it off. And then you end up not having it. And then that belief just goes on and on and on in life. And it just has a domino effect where people don't explore their highest potential because they feel like they're not good enough for it, or they don't feel like they're smart enough or good looking enough, or like whatever, rich enough. They just can't do certain things, right? But you can. The thing is, you just have to believe that you can and move on. And when I say release means that you're not uptight about it. You're like, no, you're not trying to force it. You let it go, and you let your subconscious mind actually find the directions to get there. Yeah. This is what, like, The Secret, other books and videos online all tell you. It's when you have limiting beliefs, you're limited to the achievements that you have in life.
Bro, every celebrity y'all follow says the same thing. I can tell you right now, because I literally spend so much time watching interviews, because, like, I'm an interviewer, so I want to get better at that. So I watch a variety, right? And every single successful person, anybody who even looks like they're successful, right, all says the same thing. All of them. They all say the same thing. You have to believe it, right? And you have to have self-love and self-discipline. Self-love is self-discipline, right? Like, that's literally what it is. It's equal. This is the same thing. It's the same thing. Like the more you love yourself, like, the more you will discipline yourself. I think that word discipline throws people off, right? But it's really just taking care of you and, like,
seems like a military word.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, shoot, like, y'all get used to it, right? Like, it's really that serious. It's like, it's a habit. It's a daily habit. It's a daily thought process. You either meditating, writing, thinking about it, listening, consuming, whatever the case is, like, it has to be a constant thing that you're doing. It can't just be like every once in a blue moon, like, oh man, I feel stuck, I'm going to write a New Year's resolution and then throw it away. And, like, you know what I mean? Not actually think about it ever again, right? Like, you got to actually have the intention for it.
That's right.
Like, you really have to have the intention.
All it comes down to, yeah.
And I think that for us it works because, think about it, me and you are probably like in terms of the weight that we carry, not that everyone isn't carrying weight, but we carry weight and then we come on camera. You know what I mean? So we're telling you, like, you guys see us in this, but we have to do all that work off screen to be able to come on screen and be this for you, right? And to be there for our community and to build community. Like, you can't build community if you don't have intention and if you don't have vision. It'll keep falling apart, right? So it's just, I don't know, it's just phenomenal, like, to have, like, seen my own progression. And then, like, when me and you had a conversation, like, okay, no wonder why, right? Like, we're in alignment in terms of, like, the way that we choose to live our life. So it's been super phenomenal. And then I'm just, like, steadily watching the community grow, and I'm seeing, like, it just makes me happy. Like, yeah, there's a lot of, like, there's a lot to work through, but the want is there, right? Like the energy is there, because all of that time we've spent like, man, how do we get more people involved? And it's like, okay, we have them, how do we keep them involved? How do we get them engaged? How do we help people get in position? And that's just been like our natural transition, and any single one of you guys can do it. Because why? Like, think about it. I'm one person, I run, you know what I mean? Like, I started this platform, I run it, I've been running it, I just now got a team. Like, people used to be like, yeah, you know, your team. I was like, who? Where they at? Like, I was always confused.
Oh, here.
I was like, this one right here, this team right here in my head. I was like, no, I manifested my team too. I manifested the hell out of my team. Like, and they're amazing, and they're here. They're probably in here watching because they're supposed to, right? So like, it's those things, and you got to build from that place. And like, we have been building, right? And we're still, and in the one thing I always laugh at, and I want to transition to this before we forget it, because I'm looking at time, is Danny is the happiest person ever when he's at if he's in a community event. This guy is all smiles. He's like hype. He's like, I'll be like, okay, Captain Tigray, like, he was over here, like,
talking to everybody.
Yes, he's like in his zone. He is so happy when he's around people, and that's something that we talk about too, is like being around your own. There's something so beautiful about it. Like, even though there's a lot of like triggering things and trauma that we have to work through, like, nobody else is going to understand that as well as your own people, right? Because we have a collective, there's collective punishment for our people. We have collective trauma, but we also have collective resilience. We are community builders, and we love on each other hard, right? So I just want to transition to that, because this week we're going to have Tigray Festival in Denver. And that is just going to be such a beautiful time where we get to do that. And like, y'all get to see each other, you get to network with each other, you can, like, you know, just think about it, because there's so many people that I have connected off the strength of meeting them at these things, right? I'm like, oh yeah, so and so, I met him at this, or whatever the case is, right? And it's just like, it's such a beautiful experience to be around everyone, and we get excited. We've been on it. Like, you plan, I just kind of show up, you know.
Here and there.
You know, but then you know, when I tell you Danny's Captain Tigray, this man thinks he's a performer too. He's like, oh my God, you'd be killing me. I'm like, Danny, do you forget how big you are? Like,
oh yeah,
you're not short. You're not the short average Tegaru.
I'm a child in these places. That's how I see it. It's a playground almost. Like, you're there, and like, it's like a little kid in a candy store. You know, like, what's a better scenery for you to be in than be with other Tegarus? You're just jumping around, laughing, like, oh shit, this is so and so from LA or San Diego or Seattle or what? Like, it's it has like a different feel to it, you know. And unfortunately, for wrong reasons, we've connected a whole lot more in the last 8 months. Protests, you know, city to city, and on social media, Clubhouse, Instagram, Facebook, you know, a whole bunch of, some people even TikTok, you know. But this will be like a festival. So if you guys don't already know, you know, like, we've gotten a little bit of momentum back home. You know, good part of Tigray is free, not all the way. There's still a lot of parts that's not free. And TDF we trust. TDF has been phenomenal in like getting rid of invading forces, and they're still doing everything they can to make sure humanitarian aid gets home and all that stuff. That's, you know, this is something that we are happy about. And at this festival, you know, we weren't really happy initially. When I say a majority of the people that I talked to,
me too. Me too.
It was a genocide, like, you know.
Yeah,
like, we're going through a genocide. Like, why are we celebrating? But I also recognize that with a little bit of success that we've gotten, and having the fact that our people have been really suffering for a long time, maybe this is going to be very therapeutic for them to come in and just kind of enjoy each other's company. So we've been behind it. Next week, starting, it's officially starting on Tuesday, but for the soccer players, Thursday, the actual events would start on Friday. Friday, there's a protest during the day. You know, we're still intentional about what we're doing. You know, we're still protesting and trying to make the voice of Tigray heard. But so there is a protest during the day, and there is a youth event at nighttime. It's a cultural event. We've done this for the last 10 years. on the
And we
festival.
have
So
to though. It's
yeah,
cultural preservation. Like,
cultural preservation.
and
So
this is the fun part. This is
that's the
like
fun
us
part.
teaching history in a
Yep.
fun way, you
No
know,
fun.
like
That's it.
that's what it is. It's really you still learning, but you having fun, okay?
You're having fun. You're dressing up. You're dancing. You're enjoying it in a way, and then you're like picking up on how and why we do things. So there's that cultural night. Saturday, I'm not sure what's happening during the day, but a nighttime.
I think it's the big meetings.
Yeah, so there are meetings, but at nighttime there's the big night, the Makata night is on Saturday, and then Sunday is the picnic. So it's like a park and a picnic, and then there's people who are going to be playing soccer. It's gonna be just a family event at the park, so it's gonna be really nice. We want y'all to come if you can. It's a weekend. I'm sure you can make it work. But overall, like the money that's raised in this is gonna go to help Tigray. So all of it is going to Makata. And that is also another thing, you know what I'm saying? Like any fun way we can generate money to help Tigray, you know, it's a good way to get behind. So I hope that people are coming. I've gotten a commitment from a lot that so it's gonna be really nice for us because you're already here.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm like super excited about that.
Man, listen, you already know I got a top secret project going on.
That's why I left after you.
Yeah, I know. If you come into Denver, just listen, okay? Because people get mad at me, Danny. They get mad at me after the fact if I don't tell them. And I'm just like, okay, but you guys, like, how should people? You get too excited and you be wanting to tell everything and you want all the details. So listen, it's top secret. But if you are going to be in town this weekend for the festival, hit me in my DMs. I promise you I will respond. I'm sending messages out to those of you who already told me you're coming. Like, you don't want to miss this. Like, Danny, tell them I don't do shit like this just small. I don't.
This is a secret project that is not so secret, but it's a secret still. Like,
well, it's a secret because they don't know what the actual project is gonna be.
It's gonna be something that's gonna be historical. On the youth side, it's gonna be historical. You know, like we do a lot of stuff that's directly stemming out of Tigray, but this is going to be something that it's like a footprint of history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the diaspora, man. We gotta represent.
Yeah. So just make sure that you do what you can to tag along. It should be a good project. You will not be disappointed. So I'll leave it at that. And a lot of people are behind it. So, you know, if you check in on some of the people that are in the comments, they'll tell you, you know.
Yeah. They know, because like the way I be pulling things together, it's like it's almost like magic. Like, but it's really just me manifesting it. I be having like visions, and like other people sit on it. You know, they will sit on it because I give ideas away for free. Okay, I give them away to y'all for free all day long. I have a whole degree in organizational leadership. I give people gems all day. I give you guys ideas. I'm like, this is how you can grow it. This is where you can go. Like, I'm always giving stuff to people. If they don't pick it up and do it, and then I do it, I'm going to knock it out of the park. And now you're going to be mad because I set the bar too high. You know?
You know what happens when you do that? Do you know what happens when you give away ideas? So you're not like holding on to them?
I get more.
Exactly. That's how the universe works. People think that by you like holding on to things and not sharing and elevating others, you're putting yourself in a bad position, but you're not. You're technically aligning with the universe to allow you to have more ideas just flourish in your head.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
I don't want to hold on to them either. I'm an idea generator. I'm a strategist and I'm analytical as hell. Like, I literally don't do stuff on accident. Like, I don't. I'm very intentional.
It's a good trait to have. It's really a good thing for a person to have, but also to recognize that those things are to be shared, because they won't do anything in your head by themselves. Like, if you have to do them, you don't have enough time in the world to do all the ideas that come to your head. Like, you can only do a few of them. So you sharing them with others, all it does is elevate others, and in return, it helps, like, the universe, like, you know, it just works. It's a karma thing. It's you do something nice for others, that you collecting the karmas of your kind work, and that comes back to be something really good for you personally.
Oh yeah. I know karma. I know the other side of karma too. She's not fun. Like, she's not fun on that side. So I love this side of it. Ooh, child. I'm like, oh, you have what idea? Okay, so then you can do. I'm like more than happy. Because for what? I'm gonna hold on to something for 10 years? Like, forget about it. I'm gonna move on to something else. Like, there's so much life to live.
That's right.
Like, There's way
Good.
too
I'm
much
glad you
life
do
to
that.
live.
That's huge.
So
Wish
y'all
more people did
know,
it.
right? I'm like the queen of projects. The queen of projects. I always got a project. I always got something going on. Like, you know what's crazy too? People keep asking, like, I need stuff to do. I'm like, be careful saying that around me. Because if you say that around me, I'm gonna give you some work. Like,
Bombard you. Yeah.
yes, I got a lot of work. Danny knows. I'll be like, hey, Danny, can you do this? Like,
Yeah.
I promise you, I always have a project going on. Usually more than one. Usually, I think right now I probably have like 4 or 5. So I just say that to let y'all know, like there's always somewhere I can put people. Always. If you are looking for work, I got you.
You
Go
want to
ahead
get
and come.
involved? Yep.
Just come on. We're going to plug you in. Not a problem. Not a problem. So we're looking at oh yeah, we at the hour. So you already know what time it is, Danny. You already know what time it is. And you already alluded to this because you be like cheating and you were doing this in the beginning. So, Danny, what do you want your legacy to be? And because you cheated in the beginning, and I feel like I already know what this answer is going to be, how do you want me to support it?
My legacy, I want it to be known outside of what I said earlier. I want it to be known as a person that helped others to see the best in themselves.
That's beautiful.
Like my legacy on a down like basic level, I want it to be like, oh, this person actually helped me to be something. Like, I will talk to someone and say, hey, like, what are you trying to do? What's happening? Like, what's your end goal?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Okay, go ahead.
Why? Don't be. No.
I'm emotional. What do you mean?
No, it's
you just can't handle it, Danny. Just let it happen.
I'm not doing that. I'm not crying.
Okay, I'll do it for. You know what it is? I have to do it for both of us because you refuse to.
Yeah. No, I get it. And it's like, and people that have seen me on Clubhouse would know. Like, we talk about like, what do you want to do? What are you doing? How you doing it? And we talk. The thing is, it's like there's been times where I've noticed people just there's like a little piece missing or something is holding them back, but they ultimately want something to happen to them, and if they can get that support at home, or if they can get a little bit of motivation from somebody else, or if they can get some sort of resources that they don't feel like they have, which they do, but they don't feel like they have. And if I do know that information, or if I can connect them to someone that knows that information,
yeah,
I would want to be known as the person that did the right thing and connected, or just help someone to see the best in themselves. So if I die and that is the way that someone remembers me, then I've lived a full life.
Oh man, yeah, that's beautiful. I'm emotional. I'm emotional, Danny. Thanks a lot. Hey, I am. I might get a shirt that says "Crybaby" for real. At this point, I might as well own it. At this point, I might as well own it, bro. You know what I really think, Danny? I think I cry all the tears that nobody else wants to. No, for real. You don't believe me?
I believe you, but the fact that you think like that is so funny.
No, I swear, Danny. Because think about it, like. In our community, we don't cry. Like, we don't cry. Like, we really don't. So I feel like because I'm such an empath and I be feeling all of your guys' emotions, I really feel like I cry for you guys. Because y'all not gonna let it go, so somebody got to do it, So
yeah, no. Let me tell you though, I almost cried the other day.
Oh, they said like, you didn't answer how we can support too. So you almost cried the other day.
Yeah, I almost cried the other day, and I was just like, "What the hell is happening?" Like, I literally was just like, "What?" Like, I didn't know, and I was like, "Oh man, like, collect yourself." And it was because no, it was we were in a meeting at work, and we were back.
Oh,
I'm there physically now.
Oh, that sucks.
I have one Somalian dude in my team, and I was telling them about what's happening in Tigray, and so they would say they're like, "Oh, hey, can you tell us one thing?" That's like one thing about you that's unique, whatever, And I was like, I don't know, like I don't have anything, like there's nothing unique, And then the Somalian dude is like, why don't you tell them about what's happening in your homeland? Like, oh yeah, sure, okay. And because he said that, it's not unique, it's not about me. So I wasn't trying to share it. But when he said that, I was like, all right, cool. And I was explaining what's happening in Tigray, and I literally almost started tearing up. I could see it. It's like coming. I'm like, whoa, ho, ho, ho. Like, collect yourself, And I just ended it. But like, I could see my voice cracking in the middle of it. Like, as I was speaking, what is going on here? What's really happening? And yeah, but that's it. That was the closest I can.
Yeah, because you're talking to other people who don't understand it. And it's like, there's a vulnerability in that because we've been attacked by so many people and we're gaslit from so many people. When people actually care and when they actually listen, it like shocks me sometimes where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I had been holding on to it. You know what I mean? Like, because we have like a really good armor, right? Like we have a really good armor that we put on because we got to protect ourselves from these damn people. Like they're crazy. Like these trolls are insane. Like Denver has a large amount of
it's a troll capital.
Yeah,
USA.
it's bad. Like
Yeah,
it's so much. So I understand that for you. I want you to answer the second part too, because I knew what it was. Okay, let me do this, and then I want to tell you, or I want you to kind of tell me how I can support, because this is why I'm getting emotional. And we already did it in Clubhouse, so I'm not going to do the whole speech because I already told you. We did a night where we were giving each other like real, true, genuine, like how we feel about each other, like compliments and like giving each other flowers, right? And so like a lot of people don't understand that, but me and you connect because of our families, right? Like, so there's a special connection there. And like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I got this.
Go.
And I'm just like, like that big brother I didn't ever have. You know what I mean? And so like you get on my nerves a lot, right? But at the end of the day, you always show up. You know what I mean? Like you always show up, you always show out. Like you have literally supported every single thing that I've done. Every single thing. Like, and so for me, it's like you already fulfilled that legacy because you've already seen something in me, Yeah. When I started this, like, you went out of your way to be like, you're not only watching, but you're giving me feedback. Like you're trolling in the comments, but you're giving me genuine feedback in the messages like a real brother does, right? And you're like, you did good here, do this, whatever the case is. You're always like, trying to motivate me to do more. You're doing great. Keep going, keep pushing. Anytime I need something, I got you, whatever, like you pull up. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you're already that person. And I know I'm not the only one who's been touched by you. So it's like, it was so nice because it's like, I can really affirm that you already do that.
Thank you.
And I'm just like, how do I show up more for you and like support you, like scale that bigger? That's why I was like, Danny, you need your own show. I'm a mark, me, I'm gonna jump in, I'm a pub, I'm gonna be a PR. Shit, I'll be everything. I'll throw on every single hat. I'm like, what do you need? And like, how do I help you like get to where you, like, you know what I mean? Like scale you to that level too. Like you're already big, like, right? Like you're already big, bigger than me for sure. Like, in multiple ways. In multiple ways. And I just want to repay that. You know what I mean? Like,
so there are two ways you can do that.
Okay. He got two. Okay.
Yeah. One way, I'm gonna start out with the general one, which is live that life, and you do. I'm not saying you, just in general. Everybody like live that life. Like, live a life where, when you're called upon, that you would be able to lend a hand as often as you can, as often as possible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Be there, be a support to somebody. Don't be their obstacle. Don't be the person that tells them like, no, that's a stupid idea, and just kill somebody else's dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, dreams are very, very powerful. Dreams are very, very powerful, and they're very fragile. They're very, very fragile. You know what I'm saying? So unless they're preserved by someone very, very strong, they could be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? So when someone has a dream, or someone has an idea, or they just have something that's like lingering in their head, and they just want to see how they can bring it to life, be the person that helps them and not the person that destroys that and dims that light. That's one thing that I would say. That's one way you can help. That's just helping society. The other thing is, like, as I am saying, like, you know, all the things that you said, you've been that, you know, like you've supported, you've given me encouraging words, like things that I should do somehow, some ways I should approach certain things. And I see that sometimes I take it home and I'm like, all right, let me just rethink this, you know, replay the whole conversation and see how I can apply this. And so continue doing that. Like you really, you've been very supportive, not just you, your whole family. Like I've known your dad, your mom, I've known you. It's been nothing but like good, graceful family to be like a part of in life on both sides. And I would just hope that people, not just you, but people, like whenever they see someone doing something, like you say, you know what, keep it up, you're doing a great job. And, you know, like whenever you have something going, let us know so we can help you promote. You know, whenever we do events, like we're always looking for people to help us promote. And we do have a lot of people that help us, but we don't always get to everybody. So, you know, just promote some of the events. Whenever you see me or you or anybody for that matter, and you just know them a little bit, just make it a habit to go up and say, hey, hello, hey, my name is so-and-so. Just wanted to say hi. It's nice to finally meet you in person. You know what I'm saying? I would want to meet people in real life too, not just the digital world, you know?
Yeah.
But collectively, it's just do some kind, man. Like, just be kind out there. This world is as cruel as it is, and it can use all the kind people and all the people that are there to help others. If you do that, I feel like you've supported me. I feel like we'll have a better world, because that's what's going to happen is even if you support somebody else, that somebody else may help somebody else, and then that somebody else may help me. So it revolves around. So like, you don't have to directly help me. You can help somebody else that would help. Like you help Ruta, Ruta's gonna help me, and so like, and I'm gonna help somebody else. Like it's a circle, and then we can have a better society, especially for us Tegarus. We're very few in between. So when you see a Tegarawati in college, talk to them. Be like, what do you want to do, man? Like, what's the world for you? Because another thing, I just want to add this in. Like, college students are my favorite out of everybody. Okay, I'm sorry to say this, college students are my favorite because the conversation you have with a college student is very intriguing because they're full of dreams, and that's just like such a it's like a baby, you know, like you have a baby in front of you, you're holding them, you're just like, oh, this is amazing. A college student in terms of life and professional world is a baby, and you get to say things to them that encourages them. I mean, you can also destroy, like, or you can hinder their abilities. But if you were able to talk to them and tell them, like, hey, bro, like, you know, like, what do you want to do? Like, oh, you thinking about these 4 firms? Or are you thinking about, you know, going out your own way, open up your own firm? Are you thinking about ultimately doing that? Maybe do it for 5 years. Are you thinking about going to grad school? Are you thinking about, you know, getting your PhD? There's so many doors that when you talk to them, and they're so eager to let that out somebody. There's not enough people to listen to college students out there. You know what I mean? So the college students are my favorite, by far. My favorite. I swear to God.
Listen, no, I believe it. I have seen you bring the boys under your wing and like mentor them and like sit them down. I've seen it. I've seen you in action. Like, so I know he be, I'm telling you, like, I'm like a plus, okay? But like the boys that come, the boys that come with me is like Danny's favorite. Like he's like, he loves all the boy cousins that that I help raise, and then it's easier for me to know that they have a mentor like you. So I'm like, yo, because there's not a lot around, unfortunately.
By the way, I've talked to them. You know that, right? Like
I know.
I can tell you what they all want to do.
I know.
That's so why I'm giving you your
flowers. Danny,
no, thank
that's
you.
why I'm giving you my flowers. Listen, take your flowers, because I'm telling you, the guys really like, because I know it took me a long time to learn how to keep their attention and like really get through to them. So I know what it looks like when they're really listening. You know what I mean? And when you talk, they really listen. Like there's a respect level there, right? And there's also like a trust level that like this guy actually wants us to succeed, and he's giving us real gems and real tools, right? So it's like that's why I said I know for a fact the legacy you want for yourself is happening. Look at Lala said, oh shit, Danny blushing. I'm fed up with y'all. Listen, I'm telling you for a fact, you are really doing it. You're really doing it. I'm like so proud to be able to say that like I get to be on this journey with you, that we continuously do the work together every day. Like, this is just the front. Some people don't even remember. Danny's been on this from day one. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't say thank you. Damn, man. Like, I said thank you. Like, no, bro, I really do. I really do think, like, genuinely, I'm very appreciative of, like, everything that you're saying. You know, I feel like it's a little bit more than I deserve. Honestly speaking, it's not even knocking it out. Stop.
Listen, you're gonna do that. Don't do
flowers.
it. Okay, that's it. We went over this. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. There's nothing after thank you. That's it. There's nothing after thank you. There's nothing after thank you. It's just thank you. I accept. I receive. Whatever. That's it. There's nothing else. Listen.
Yeah,
you alluded. This is the last thing. Yes, Becca. I'm gonna tell you. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, and we're gonna end it because people be all sensitive because they gotta watch over an hour. Yeah. What you just said too, and you said this earlier when we're talking about manifesting and we're talking about like just limiting beliefs and everything, right? This applies to compliments, and you gotta get good at this, Danny. Because why? Because you accept the love you think you deserve.
Yeah. No,
right?
I know. This I do have a weakness that I have realized, and we talked about this. So, you know.
That's
cool.
it. Yeah,
we're
not gonna harp on it anymore. That quote has stuck to me. I remember that movie Perks of the Wallflower, and I remember they kept saying it, and they're like, you accept the love you think you deserve, right? So if you find yourself in a bad situation, okay, it's because you don't love yourself. And you are not accepting anybody else loving you in that way, right? So you are accepting a minimum level, but you should be getting an optimal level. Like, I should be able to, like, I could have spent the whole hour just saying different things that I've seen you do. Like, I could have spent the whole hour and some change just saying, oh yeah, I seen you do this one time. You pulled up on this. I could give you flowers for like the whole episode. So like, all you got to do is just get to that point, and you already know it because you already have the skill set. Just accept the love. That's it. Because you know you deserve it, right? And so whatever meditation you're gonna do after this, just figure out what is your limiting belief there. And it's probably just because of our culture, really. But we're gonna get over that. If that's my legacy and I gotta break that curse, it's gonna be that. Like, it's gonna be that, and it's gonna get people to cry. Okay, that's what we're ending it. That's my goal. Cool. I'm telling you, listen, you do deserve it. Everybody's agreeing. Everybody's telling you to take the flowers, Danny. They're telling you, say thank you, take the flowers. I am. They said you deserve all the compliments, all of those. They're on my side. Okay, not yours. They're on my side that you deserve it, and just accept it. That's all it is. That's all. So, y'all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed. Yep. I hope y'all enjoyed. This is Black Men Speak Sundays, and this is Danny Denver. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate you. I'm about to go on my walk. We probably gonna hop right back on the clubhouse for the after hours. Okay. But yes, everybody, I love everyone. Thank you so much. And everyone have a good night. Bye, Danny.
Thank you for providing the platform and doing a damn Doug Dizzle here.
Okay.
You know, Bay Area hyphy.
You already know.
That, you know.
You already know. Okay, listen.
And keep it up. Hold it down. Like, I know you're doing a good job. And I know you're going to excel in this and take this, not just on Instagram, but like beyond.
Oh yeah,
it's like, you know what I mean, actually having a place where you have a studio, and the studio is like a place for people to actually talk.
Okay.
Do this.
Listen,
like,
manifesting for me, I'm claiming it. I'm claiming it. That's it. It's done.
Yeah. You're gonna do
That's it. It's
All
done.
Right, cool.
I
have a good night.
you.
I'll see you at the fest if I don't see you before that. But good night to everybody. Thank you for having me. For real, you're very great. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Good night, y'all.
Good night.